I think that people greatly underestimate their ability um, people just have no idea that they can do anything they want. Like, people really have no idea that they can do anything. You can just do whatever you want. And I'm not talking about how, like, when people make those videos about free will, oh, when you realize you have free will, so you stick your penis inside of a box of cereal. I don't know, people talk about free will. Oh, when you remember you have free will, and they do some dumb shit. I'm not talking about that fact. I'm talking about the fact that I sort of live my life in large part doing what I want. I try. It doesn't always work out. But when I try to explain my life to people, it's like they don't understand, and there has to be a reason behind everything. I was talking to this Polish woman at a bus stop today, and she said she's been here for 30 years. So she I don't know how old she is, but she looked really good for her age. I was talking to this woman, and she's like, oh, how long have you been here? I'm like, oh, 6 months. And then I told her that I'm actually leaving the country in a couple months. She's like, oh, why, where? I'm like, I'm going to Mongolia. She's like, how long are you gonna be there? Oh, a couple months. Oh, why are you going there? And she also asked me, oh, so what brought you to Chicago? Oh, are you going to school? Are you working? What are you doing? And these are all super normal questions. I'm not criticizing her at all. I understand. She was just making normal conversation, right? My phone's gonna die. I'm not sure. Okay, I got 12%. Right? I'm not saying that this woman is fucking brainwashed. She's in the Matrix. No, she was just, talking to me. But it gets me thinking. It's like it's like when I tell people my life. Yeah, I was here, and this is just in the past couple years. I was here, and then I moved across the country. Then I lived in the woods for 2 months. I came back here. Then I was in South America for 7 months. Then I was homeless in Detroit. Now I'm in Chicago. Oh, I'm going to Mongolia soon. And people get so people get so. I mean, naturally, people get really interested in my life or whatever, and they ask me questions, when I tell them all that. But I don't know, the degree to which it confuses people confuses me, because I guess people have a hard time wrapping their heads around I don't know. I'll just explain my life from my perspective, right? I'll try. I need to fucking there. My perspective is like, okay, I was living in San Diego, and that's where all my friends, my job, my car, My girlfriend at the time, which that didn't last. Anyway, that's where my whole life was. And my sister hit me up, and she was living in South Carolina, right? And she asked me, she's like, "Hey, do you want to move across the country and come live with me? I won't charge you rent." And I thought, oh, like, because my fucking dad was charging me $500 a month. And yeah, that's, you know, it wasn't bad, but that shit was fucking killing me. Combined with the fact that I couldn't cook at home, I had to eat out for different reasons. It was just a whole thing. And literally, my sister asked me that. I didn't even really have to think about it that much. I just said yes and decided right there, okay, I'm gonna move across the country. And I literally left, you know, fuck, I got 5% back. Oh my god. I left everything I knew. I literally spent like all the thousands of dollars, spent all the money I had just to afford the fucking moving van across the country. And you know, and it ended up being a good decision, financially at least. South Carolina fucking sucks dick and balls. I hate the South. But you know, and before that I had decided, me and my homie were talking, and I don't know, after that, I don't know. But we were talking, and I was like, yeah, I want to go on this hike, you know, the Appalachian Trail. It's like a 6-month hike, 2,000 miles. And I just watched one YouTube video and immediately decided, oh, I'm doing this. And I bought all the equipment, I saved up a bunch of money, and then my friend was like, yeah, it sounds cool, let's do it. And so I literally, I didn't end up completing the whole thing. I fucking hated it. It wasn't fun at all, actually. But I just decided, oh, I have a power. Shit, dude, fuck. Okay, I remembered that I have a portable charger. So I'm good. My shit was on, no, my shit actually got to 0%. But yeah, I literally saved up money, and then I just straight up lived in the woods for 2 months. I hiked 311 miles. It took me 2 months because I spent like 1 or 2 weeks in Hot Springs, North Carolina. Anyway, yeah, I didn't fucking, I didn't like take a shower. I didn't sleep in a bed for like 2 months, bro. But, and then after that, you know, I went to South America, and I, you know, partly to meet somebody, and partly to practice my Spanish, and just for a vacation. There was a lot of things. And I stayed there for 7 months until all my money ran out. And then I just came back. And then I worked a little bit in South Carolina. And then I wanted to go work on an oil rig, which I wanted to go to North Dakota. I didn't end up making it to North Dakota, but I basically just became homeless for a couple months, longer than I anticipated. I just was living in my car because, I don't know, I just decided to get a car and pack all my shit up and go to North Dakota to work on an oil rig. But then I stopped in Detroit, and then and my friend was there, and then I made a couple friends there, and then I just decided, I don't want to go to fucking North Dakota. I want to stay here. So then I just stayed in Detroit for the summer, fucking being homeless in my car. And then I took a day trip out to Chicago. I ended up staying there for like, here for 2-3 days actually. I was just sleeping in my car in Chicago just because I just wanted to go somewhere. I just decided one day, like literally that same day, I was like, I'm going to Chicago, and I went. And then I got to Chicago, and I was gonna move. I was gonna drive all the way to Oregon and move to Oregon, but I was on probation and I wasn't legally allowed to leave the state of Michigan. So I had to stay. I was still gonna leave. I was I had to stay close enough so that I could still drive back and make my court dates. And Chicago's only 4 hours away, 4.5 hours. So I literally drove out to Chicago on a whim, and then I was in Chicago and I decided, I think I'm gonna move here. And then I came back to Detroit, whatever, said goodbye to whoever, and then I drove back to Chicago, and I was just like, okay, I live in Chicago. I had no money, no plan. I didn't have a place to stay. I was just living in my car. I didn't know anybody here, nothing. I was just living in my car in Chicago. And miraculously, bro, I somehow, and this is a whole different story, I went a whole, like, me being homeless, and then even after I was homeless and I had a place, I somehow went like a 6 to 8 month period basically not having a job, like somewhere in between, like having a couple job, like a job for a couple days here and there, and using my credit card till it ran out, and stealing shit. And somehow miraculously I made it like 6 to 8 months no job, and I made it like 4-5 months in Chicago with no job. Well, I was still paying my rent. but anyway, yeah. And then so I just came here and I started living here, and like after a month, less than a month, I literally met a girl at a rave. And I don't even like raves, but I just started going to raves every single weekend because I had nothing to do. I met a girl and I moved in with her and her mom the same day, or no, literally the day after. And it was this place in the hood, and then I got kicked out. Anyway, but you know, I say all this to say, and I'm going to Mongolia. I literally did not have, I didn't know that I was going to Mongolia 3 weeks ago. And I still don't have the money. I do not have the money to go. Right now I can't afford it, but I'm going. I guarantee you I'm going. I guarantee you. And I quite literally just decided, you know, I just started, I don't even think, it wasn't like videos of Mongolia started popping up. I already had imagery of Mongolia in my head, right? I knew that they do whatever, that there's the plains, and they ride horses, and there's the, you know, they got the traditional outfits, and there's Mongolian wrestling, and there's all the, I was just thinking about all this like culturally Mongolian shit, and the throat singing, and I just had a bunch of Mongolian imagery bouncing around my head, you know, like these visions. And I was thinking about it. I was thinking about it for like a couple days, and then a week. And I already knew that I was leaving. I already knew kind of that I wanted to leave the country maybe in July, because I was like, I can't, you know, I gotta be in this cycle of work, save money, and then go somewhere, try to have an adventure, do something, because I can't live a normal life. I can't, oh, I'm in this one place and I'm building a life, and I have a 9 to 5, and I live in this house, and I have an address, and I have an employer, and I have a W-2, and this is my life. This is what my life is, and I'm building from here. I have school and career, and I can't do that, bro. I really can't fucking do that. I really cannot fucking do that. But it's cold. It's really fucking cold right now. I shouldn't say really, because like 2 months ago there was snow on the ground right here. But anyway, and literally one day I decided, I was like, okay, I'm going to Mongolia. I had no plan. My best plan was I was gonna go to Italy on July 14th and see Kanye in concert. I just didn't have any fucking plan. But I just decided right there. I was like, okay, I'm gonna learn Mongolian and I'm going to Mongolia. And I'm learning. I'm in the process. I can't speak Mongolian yet. I know that means what's your name, I think. That's about all I know. But I don't know. I just think that people really have no idea the extent to which you can do whatever you want, you know, and I'm talking about regardless of financial limitations and life circumstances or a busy schedule or whatever your perceived obstacles are. It's like, yes, there are some real obstacles in this life. Yes, there are limitations. Like, you know, I wouldn't tell like a single mother of 3, right, who's just trying to provide for her kids. I'm not gonna tell her, yeah, you could drop everything and go travel the world. No, she's tied down. Or like, if you're heavy in debt, you could barely pay the rent, you're just trying to, like, you can barely live, you can't even afford food, right? You're just trying to survive. Okay, you gotta figure that you don't have the freedom to do whatever you want. But then again, maybe you'd be surprised. You would be surprised the amount of situations in life where you really can just get up and walk out on it, and but you don't think you can, right? But anyway, so yeah, there are some. Obviously, I'm not purely naive. I'm not gonna tell everybody that, you know, they could do whatever they want at any given time, but it's just like I said, people have no idea how much freedom they have, especially if you live in America. And I say that not only because of the freedom we possess, like, in our country, but, you know, an American salary goes a long way. You can work the shittiest job, minimum wage, 6 months, save up some money, go live in another country. You could literally, like, you could save up money at a minimum wage job for a couple months and then go live in another country for a longer period of time than it took you to save that. Dude, I spent like 6 months working, and I lived in Colombia and Argentina for 7 months off of that money. It was like $10K, and I was staying at nice ass Airbnbs every single night. I wasn't going hostels, I wasn't going World Packers, and I had to buy food. I was traveling with somebody. I was buying food for 2 people, and I was going out to eat. I could have lived there for years if I wanted to, right? But when I see Americans not taking advantage of the opportunities, not being aware, I don't know. Anyway, but even if you're dead broke, that's why I say people impose limitations on themselves that don't really exist. Dude, I think that light turned on. Now I got the light coming in. That don't really exist. Like people, oh, this makes me so angry. This makes me so angry when people say that they can't travel because they don't have money. And anytime, like, there'll be some travel influencer, some people making videos in other countries, and they'll be like, get out, explore the world, travel. And people in the comments talking about, oh, not all of us are that privileged, blah, blah, blah. Oh, where do you get the money? Oh, you need money to travel. No, you don't. Dude, like, okay. First of all, right, just find, okay, can you get a job? Yes, you should be able to accomplish that, right? If you can't even fucking get some shitty job, I don't believe in you. You can't do anything. That's one. Two, save enough money at that job. Save between 1 and 3K. Can you save enough money to get a round trip flight to another country and $1,000 or at least a couple $100 extra, right? Okay. Go to another country, use Worldpackers. Worldpackers, there's an app, and this is not the only, there's programs, there's websites, you can stay places for free. You can work a couple hours a day and stay someplace for free where they give you a bed and they give you food. You can stay at hostels for cheap. You can, I mean, I haven't done this, but if you're good enough, especially if you're a dude or whatever, you could talk to chicks and just stay at chicks' houses. Like, that's an option. But there's so many ways, like, you know, you can't tell me. I just don't understand. It's like, okay, dude, and it's like people want to convince you when you're talking to somebody, and if you try to convince them, man, you can do anything. You can do this is your life. You have the ability to do what you want. You can travel, you can do this and that, you can pursue any career, you can genuinely do anything. And they're arguing with you. You're trying to tell them that they can have a wonderful life that they want. And they're arguing with you. They're trying to convince you and convince themselves that life sucks and they can't do what they want to do. And brother, why am I for you and you're against yourself? You know? It's like, okay, dude, you can think that if you want to think that. You can think that all of your limitations are insurmountable, and you know you can't do what you want to do, and you're trapped, and you don't have the ability to get out of it. You can think that about yourself. It's like, okay, bro, go ahead and think that. You know, sure, go ahead and believe that. Go ahead and believe that you can't do anything instead of I'm gonna figure it out. At the end of the day, I can't. I mean, if that's the mindset that you want that mindset for whatever reason. You want the mindset that I can't do anything. I don't have enough money. I'm not good looking enough. I'm not smart enough. I don't have the opportunities. I don't have the people around me. I'm too busy. I'm tied down. I get that. Okay, if you want to believe that instead of, okay, there is a path, there is a way to do everything that I want to. I gotta look at my life circumstances and move stuff around and figure out what I want to do and construct a couple month plan to get me on the path. Or, you know, it's like you're choosing to just be limited and burdened down by everything instead of, okay, this is what I want, this is where I am. Here's what's preventing me from doing this. There is a way to get here, and I gotta figure it out. You just gotta buckle down and figure it the fuck out, bro. Especially if you're like me, bro. If you're a young person, you don't have any fucking kids, you don't have a fucking mortgage, dude. You know what teachers used to tell us in school? That do everything you want to do, get it done while you're young. Do all your traveling while you're young, right? Because this is the time in your life when you don't have anything tying you down. Dude, they're right. Dude, they're so right. They're so right. And I believe that life is never over, right? Obviously, I'm gonna settle down and I'm gonna have kids, but there is not gonna be a time in my life where my life becomes lame. I'm gonna be doing the shit that I wanna do until I fucking die. Maybe when I'm like 80 years old, I'll accept, okay, I'm just an old dude, I'm just gonna stay at my house and do nothing. But before the age of 80, the big 80, bro, I'm not accepting that. And I hope even when I reach that age that I'm not sedentary. I hope I'm fucking jacked, like steroid Vince McMahon old guy, and I got all my hair, Dude, it's cold. Not as cold as me though. Dude, do you remember the thing? I missed that, but sometimes I still make that noise. Like that was like years ago, bro. But sometimes I still make that noise in reaction to things. That shit was so cold. I like that. I wish I don't know. I wish some memes or some things could just like stick around forever. Like, you remember that alien, it was the bird. It was like the alien ice bird, and it was the AI bird, and it was like the weird ass song. Anyway, that was cold. I wish that could stick around forever. I wish that you could just like individually select trends or fads that you really like, and just make them last forever. Like the Talk to a podcast. I wish that was still going. I wish that fucking Haley Welch kept doing the Talk to a podcast for like 10 years. Or like, I don't know, bro. Or like the Ninja low taper fade thing. I love when people drag shit past the point where it's cool and they keep doing it and it becomes cool again. I love that shit, Like when Remble said, oh, he's so against true religion, right? He's like, do you really feel fly in a true fit? I got offended. I was listening to that song. I'm like, I do feel fly in a true fit. Like, true religion fiend. I'm a true religion fiend, bro. I dude, my love for true religion is like a guy in Southside Chicago in 2014. That's how much I fuck with true religion, just for no reason, just because I don't know, bro. I just love true religion. And I never got on that shit. I never got on that shit until way after it was cool. But I just believe in, like, I don't know, bro. It was weird. I think that, like, you know, if you wear something that's out of style, if you wear something now that was in style 3 years ago, but it's not cool now, if you wear the wrong thing thinking it's cool, but it's not cool now, people will make fun of you. But I think, you know, if you wear something that you like it, and you wear it, being fully aware that nobody finds it cool anymore, people are gonna clown you, people are gonna make fun of you, but you wear it in spite of that because you really fuck with it. Isn't that cooler than, like, I don't understand. To me, that's cooler than anything. Like, doing an uncool thing in spite of it being uncool because you want to me, that's cool. And I don't understand why other people aren't on that wavelength, you know? I think that, and I really have no idea, how people aren't embarrassed to be doing cool things. Because like modern day, this is why I don't think I've ever, and I'm not trying to say, oh, I'm better than everybody, but especially for fashion, I don't think that I've hopped on I don't think that I've worn, like, currently trendy, cool clothes in my entire life, because it's so cringy to me. I can't do it. Like, you know, like back when, you know, a couple months or a year ago or whatever, dudes were wearing it's all the boxy tees. It was the fucking boxy t-shirts, the boxy cropped t-shirts, and everybody was like, it was like a boxy cropped t-shirt and baggy pants with fucking rhinestones or some bullshit. And it's like, whatever it is, or whether like it's really it's like more than ever, it's cool to be like, to dress more alt, more goth or whatever. Or back, you know, if it was 2016 and it was skinny jeans and the off-white belt, like the hype beast shit, that was cool. My brain is like, I can't, it's like, I don't understand how people can dress, oh yeah, this is the cool thing right now, I'm wearing all the cool shit, I'm wearing all the shit that's cool right now, I'm wearing all the shit that everybody's wearing. I don't understand how you can do that and not feel ashamed of yourself. That's just my natural reaction. Like, I couldn't go out to the mall and buy all the shit and then wear it and look at myself in the mirror and be like, I would just be like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I don't know, bro. It's just weird to me. I don't know, like to me, it's almost like being cool is cringe because you're trying to be cool. And I'm not talking about effort. I'm not talking about, oh, you know, when people can tell that you're trying, you become uncool. That's not even what I'm talking about. It's because it's like, I don't know, bro. You know, I can't really explain it well, but it just comes from my mindset of growing up growing up being a fucking nerd and a fucking loser originally, and everyone else was like, it was me and it was the cool kids. And so this complex in my head of the cool kids, right? That's always, it's like a group. I see them from the outside, like, oh, it's like the cool kids, right? And I have this complex, existing in my head into adulthood. And it's like, I don't know if it comes, I think that deep down I have some disdain. I have disdain for them. Because, I don't know, just because because I was just a fucking loser, right? And so now it's like, I never want to be them. I never want to be, I don't know, people that are, like trendy and cool and popular, and it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And it's like, now, now I have the ability to be one of them. I can LARP, right? Because now I do shit, I don't even know. I do shit in my life that like I never did before. Whether it's, just in terms of the kind of activities that I can engage with, or the people I can talk to. It's like, now in my life I can, blend into a scene that like I never could, right? Because I was just a fucking loser, and I grew out of it. So whether that's, going to parties, going to the club, or just hanging out with types of people that I never could see myself hanging out with, at this stage in my life, I kind of have the ability, like when I was growing up as a kid, I was just a fucking loser, and it was me and it was the cool kids over there. And then I gained the ability, to LARP and to become one of them if I want to. But now I have so much bitterness in my heart that it just disgusts me. I don't want to. It's like it's tempting, like sometimes I want to be one of them, just because you don't really lose, the same complexes that are inside your head, and the same things, that affected you during childhood and all that. It all remain. We basically deal with the same desires and struggles, and everything. It's all the same from childhood to, adolescence to adulthood. We deal with the same concepts, the same social hierarchies, everything. It's just that as adults, we abandon juvenile terminology, and we mask things, we use different words. That's a whole other concept that I talk about it in other videos. But you never grow up. You basically never grow up. It is what I'm saying. You don't abandon juvenile ideas. You replace them with adult terminology. But anyway, so what the fuck was I talking about? Like, yeah, like I was a kid, and it's like, not only was I a fucking loser, that was my identity. It's not just that, I was a fucking loser and that was an undesirable position that I was in. No. It's like, I felt it to my core. I am a fucking loser, social outcast nerd. Like, that's, and I still feel that, like, to this day, but that's who I am. Like, that's who I am. I'm not one of them. And then some, when my evolution started in high school, and especially like late high school, and I started like, just getting more hip, I just started understanding shit. I stopped being such a fucking like swagless chud, bro. I started understanding, okay, how to dress, how do I present myself, listening to different music, learning how to talk to people, everything, bro. I just like, had a metamorphosis into a different person, right? And but yeah, it's just that complex in my head has persisted into adulthood of I don't want to be one of them. I don't want to be one of the cool kids or one of the popular kids or one of the cool people. It's like I don't want to be them. I find it distasteful and disgusting, but I also want to be them on such a deep level. And there's the complex of I hate them just because, not for any reason. And there are reasons, right? Like there are reasons. I could say, oh, they were mean to me, oh, they bullied me, oh, this and that, right? But even if all of that wasn't true, I still have this complex in my head of I hate the it crowd just because they're them. I hate the popular kids just because they're popular, and for no other reason. It's just because I have this, and it's just, I don't know, I think it's much bigger than a desire for vengeance, or it's not just, oh, they were mean to me, and it's something really fundamental that I can't describe. It's like it's like Indians and Pakistanis just are different, and they just fucking hate each other, and they're kind of the same. Like they can't really tell you why. You could ask them, why do you hate each other, and they could give a bunch of reasons, but at the end of the day, it's really just, that's what it, like, they're just ops. They're just fundamental. They're different. It's like, that's the opposing side. That's how I feel. It's like the fucking loser chuds are BDs and the popular kids are GDs, bro. And that's just what it is. And there's no, and it's like, there doesn't have to be a logic. There doesn't, it's like, how far back does it go? Like where does it start? Like, what if you break it down? If you break down, right? Like gangs in Chicago and why they hate each other and why they kill each other, right? There's really there's no reason. It's just because they were born into it, and it's also an endless cycle of violence and blood that nobody's willing to break, because it's, you're born into it, and it's also, that guy killed my homie, so I have to kill him, or I have to kill his homie, and then he kills more of us and we kill more, and it's just, and it doesn't end, right? But at the end of the day, like, there is no objective reason for the violence when you zoom out, because they're not different at all. Like, they're guys of the same race, of the same upbringing, who live in the same place and wear the same things and listen to the same music. They literally have no reason to, it's not a natural rivalry. Like, it doesn't make any sense, but it just exists, and like, they're the ops, and it's fuck them forever, and there's no way of reversing it. It goes so deep. You're not gonna you're not gonna reverse it, bro. You're not gonna, you know, you're not gonna convince some dude who's been GD or whatever his whole life to just, I don't know, for some people, and I don't know, for some people it's just baked in. It's not going away. And I understand, like, it's a weird comparison. Like, I'm comparing myself growing up as a fucking loser to me being in a gang, but it holds. The comparison, the point that I'm trying to make holds, is that it's just who I am, and I hate the cool kids, whoever they are, at whatever stage of my life. I hate them. And sometimes I feel like I'm becoming them, and I almost hate myself. Like, when I catch myself becoming too cool, it's almost like I almost hate myself, and I'm disgusted. I'm like, who the fuck am I? Who the fuck have I become? You know? Like, there's this picture of me. And I'm at the club, bro, and it was just a picture of me and a bunch of people, like, against a fence, and I got my arms around like 3 bitches, and then there's one dude over here who was like their friend, I guess. But I just got my arms like around all these bitches, bro, and I'm just smiling, and like, I think that was the same night where, like, I ended up going with them, and we were playing in this pool, and then I was making out with this one. Anyway, but it's moments like that where I'm just like, bro, it's like, on the one hand, I'm proud of myself, because how the fuck did I achieve that? How the fuck did I go from being like literally an introverted, like, fucking social outcast fucking dork, no bitches, nothing, just school shooter, like, horrible, bro, horrible, to, like, I don't know, bro, going to the club and getting bitches, and sometimes I just, and I can't even talk about it without cringing at myself almost, because it's like, who the fuck, I don't know, bro. Or like in Chicago, like on New Year's, when I was driving to a party, and I had my homie in the seat, and I had like 4 girls in the back of my car, and whatever, we get to the party, and we're, you know, like, I'm talking to the girls, and then I don't even remember what happened, but, and then, like, I don't know, like, the music's playing, and I'm smacking this bitch's ass, I'm bah, 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 and I'm like, who am I? Like, actually, who the fuck am I? It almost feels like I am betraying myself. Like, I'm supposed to be a fucking loser, and I'm betraying myself. And it's like, I'm hanging out with that crowd of people, and I'm like, I'm fooling them, because it's imposter syndrome, right? I'm fooling them. I'm successfully fooling them into think, oh, you guys think that I'm one of you, but I'm actually a fucking loser creep, and you would hate me if you knew who I actually was. You know? I don't know. But that's just me. That's just what's inside of my head. And it also, I think part of the reason why I hate people who grew up popular, you know, and with a bunch of friends and all that, and they were always involved in shit. The reason why I hate those people is because I can look into their face and I can see a lifetime of privilege, and I just hate them. You know, if I look into the face of somebody who they weren't bullied growing up, they weren't, you know, excluded by everybody, like they were included with everything, you know, they just normal life. They had a bunch of friends, they talked to girls, they always played sports, they were involved in all the clubs and everything and this and that, and I just look into their stupid fucking face and this smile that they have on their face, the smile of having a good life. I just hate them. I just hate them. Like, I could hate somebody. I hate somebody just because they had a good childhood and I didn't, right? And literally for no other reason. They didn't do anything to me. They didn't do anything objectively wrong, right? They just had what I wanted. They just had what I wanted and never got. And I hate them for it. Isn't that something? I just fucking spilled water on myself. Anyway. And it's, you know, I can't even I have so many feelings and so many thoughts about this, because this is literally, you know, a concept that's been just kind of floating around and morphing and being mulled over and kneaded over in my head. This is just a complex that's been existing in my head that I've been thinking about for probably almost 20 years, bro. I've been thinking about this for the better part of 2 decades. And so I'm really not going to be able to convey to you how I truly feel about this in 45 minutes. That is a long time, but and I'm not kidding to you. I knew I was a fucking loser since I was in preschool, and I'm not joking, you know. Dude, my memories start at 4 years old, basically. Maybe 3, I have no idea, but my memories start at 4 years. I remember pretty vividly from the age of 4. And I have this distinct memory of I could go there right now and go to the exact spot in the fucking dirt where this happened. It was after school, and you know, there was the after school program where, you know, everyone would pick up their kids, and then me and the rest of these kids would stay behind for 30 minutes or an hour or two, you know, until your parent came to pick you up, and they'd play movies and games and whatever. And it was a sunny day. I was outside in the yard. I was the only one there, and all of the teachers and all of the children were inside the building, inside the preschool. And I was playing with the stick, and it was like sand. It was like this dusty. If you know Southern California, there's like, you know, like dusty, sandy dirt. Like, anyway. And I just had a stick, and I was just playing in in the dirt with this stick. I was just tracing it along. I don't even know if I was drawing anything. I was just tracing it along in the dirt. I was sitting on this log, I think, and I was just tracing it along in the dirt. And I was just kind of, I was very, I wouldn't say I was sad. I was just in a, I was in a, I was like in a stoic mindset, and it's weird to say, but I remember, you know, I have weird moments of like being a little kid, but I remember being in an adult mindset. That was probably like the first time in my life where, and you don't have to believe me, but I remember I was just in a completely sober, like, adult mindset. Like, I can think of it like my thoughts in that moment were exactly the same as like my thoughts now. And that's not true of my entire childhood. I'm not saying that I was an adult when I was a child. That's obviously not true. But anyway, I just remember this with remarkable fucking whatever. I was sitting there and I was just thinking, you ever think about something, like you're thinking about something, but you're not having thoughts, you're not making observations about it, you're not thinking specific things about it, you're just being aware of something, but you are being aware of something as an active state, like as an action, as something you're doing. You're just being aware of it. So I was just sitting there, like, stoically just being aware of the fact that everyone's in there having fun and being together, and I am out here by myself, alone. And I was just sitting there just aware of that fact. And that was like, I mean, I have felt that. I have been in that exact situation, thinking and feeling that exact same thing 1,000 times in my life since that moment. That moment began a long line, a pattern of moments in my life where I am sitting here alone and everybody else is together and I'm not a part of it. That, I mean, I didn't even know it at the time. But that moment when I was 4, that defined, like, it almost defined the rest of my life, dude, literally. It's like I would be living the rest of my life that way. But anyway, this teacher came out and she was like, hey, you want to come in and, you know, play with the rest of us? And I was just like, no, I'm okay, thank you. And she was like, okay. And then she just closed the door and went back. I don't know why they were just leaving me out there completely unattended, but and yeah, bro, that was just, I just remember that. It's cold. It's cold. Wow, I'm just telling you, that's how deep it goes. I remember that moment 4 years old, just accepting everybody's over there and they're having fun together, and I'm not one of them. I'm just gonna sit here and be lonely. And somebody offered to include me, and I wanted to be included, and I just said, nah, it's okay, I'm fine. All of those things. That was the first time for all of those things. And all of those things repeated in my entire life. That was, I mean, that was like the inception of my fucking identity, bro. You know, maybe there was another life that could have happened, or that was supposed to happen, where I've always felt, this is the thing, I've always been a fucking loser, but I've always felt slightly or extremely discontent with being a loser, because there's always been so many fucking things about me that were never congruent with that. I was never comfortable being a loser, because I always felt that there are so many things about just me and about my personality and everything that just weren't congruent with that. I always felt like I landed in the wrong place. I always felt like I looked at the popular kids and the normal kids, I'm like, I'm not one of them. And then I looked at the fucking nerds and I'm like, I don't want to be one of these guys, bro. I'm supposed to be over there. What the fuck happened? You know? And I think in high school, literally in high school is when that started to happen. Like literally when I broke out of my shell and I started to become the person that I was supposed to be, you know. But I just wondered, like, because there's so many good things about me, and I'm not trying to fucking toot my own horn here. I'm not trying to, you know, I know that you don't want to listen to me stroke my own ego, but it's just an objective fact. Like, you know, there's so many good things about me, and it never, part of the reason why I was so bitter is because it never made complete sense to me why I was a fucking loser, right? I always felt this way about myself. I was always like, damn, like, I'm tall, I'm funny, I'm good looking, I'm smart, like, I don't know, bro. And I was like, why the fuck? Why the fuck? I just always felt like, fuck, I'm not supposed to be here. Why, how have I gotten here, and why have I allowed myself to be, I don't know, dude. I always felt like I was a fucking, you know, like, intellectual, introverted nerd when I was supposed to be a star. And I know that probably sounds cringy or like corny, whatever you want to say, but that's always, I have had unceasing delusions of grandeur for my entire life, and they're not delusions, they're just visions of what I'm supposed to be, because there's nothing delusional about grandeur. You can achieve great things. I don't know why you would want to convince yourself into believing that you can't, into believing that great things aren't possible for you. But my entire life was nothing but visions of greatness. That's a better phrase. I wish it was visions of greatness and not delusions of grandeur. I mean, I get that there's a whole, like, somebody who has delusions of grandeur could delusionally think things about themselves that aren't true, and it's a whole, never mind. But dude, I know that everybody used to do, everyone did, like, all kids did this. I used to daydream about like me singing a song. Like, I would listen to some song or whatever that I thought was cool, and I would daydream about me singing the song in front of the whole school, and everybody was impressed. Or I would daydream about, like, being a hero, whatever. I would just daydream about being cool, being the main character, right? Like, every kid, every human being on this earth wants to be that guy, wants to be that main character, right? And I'm not sure that you reach the highest levels of satisfaction in life that are possible unless you fulfill that. I'm not sure if you can be 100% fulfilled in life unless you become the superhero that you wanted to become when you were a kid. Maybe you can reach 90%, but I just think, I don't know. But I don't know, dude. I don't know. But yeah, you can really do anything you want. You can do anything you want. And you can be what you want, everything. You can change who you are. You can fake it till you make it. You can reinvent yourself. To a certain degree. It's not even, reinventing yourself isn't about changing who you are. It's about developing parts of yourself that have gone undeveloped your entire life, like how I, and I know it's cringe, like, I'm not trying to call myself a cool guy, but I'm cooler than I was, right? And like who I am now in comparison to who I fucking was as a kid, I am a cool guy. Like, I've changed enormously, right? And the difference in between that and this, the difference, it wasn't like becoming somebody fake. It wasn't creating this fake person that I'm not. All the things, the parts of my personality that I've developed, and the things that I can do or feel comfortable doing or saying now that I couldn't have ever dreamed of before, or just, being, having more success in social situations, having more success with girls, having people look at me in a way that they never looked at me before. All this thing, like this new person that I essentially created and became from scratch that didn't exist. It's not that it's this guy that I made up and therefore is fake. It's a part of me that went undeveloped, and I developed it, just like I believe if you're a fucking asshole, if you're an asshole, you're just not a nice person. You're just not sensitive to others. There is, and I've seen it happen, there is like an emotionally in touch, thoughtful, sensitive person inside of you that is waiting to be developed, that you can develop. That's a side of you that exists. That's a malnourished, seed that never got nutrition. That if you water it, it can grow. I've seen it, like, bro, my best friend, right? My best friend. And I'm not saying that he's an asshole. I'm not gonna say he was ever an asshole or he was a bad person, but he used to be way more rough around the edges than he is now, right? He's like 20 or 22, 21, 22 now. And back when we were teenagers, I felt bitterness towards him because I felt like he was kind of mean to me. He would make fun of me, and like he would hurt my feelings a lot. And it wasn't, it was just kind of talking shit. It wasn't anything like out of the ordinary, but regardless, it would hurt my feelings. And now there was always a part, he was my best friend, but there was always a part of our relationship that I was unsatisfied with, because I always felt like he was kind of mean to me, and I just didn't. I don't know. That's just how it was, And he was kind of an asshole. Like there was, like, I could talk to him now and like situations or like certain shit that he did back in the day, and he would recognize, like, dude, I was a fucking asshole. Like, like I can't believe I used to like act like that. There was a part of him, he was genuinely kind of an asshole back in the day. And now it's so amazing how much he's changed. Like, he's changed so much, and just like how we are, how we communicate about shit, and like, I don't know, just in terms of like vulnerability and emotions and everything like that. Like, I've just seen him, I don't know, like develop and flourish like a butterfly in front of my very eyes. And he's become, I'm not gonna say that he was a bad person, but he's become a way better person and a way different person right in front of my eyes, And so what, you can develop yourself. You don't gotta, you can fake it till you make it. You can just create a new person and be that person. But you can also, you don't gotta think of it that way. Whether you want to become, the confident, cool guy that you always wanted to be, you always had in your head, whether you want to be a better person, whether you want to become more sensitive, or whether you want to become less sensitive, or whether you want anything you want to become, any way you want to change yourself to where it feels like, man, but that's just not, that's fundamentally not who I am. You just got to remember, you have no idea who you are. You have no idea who you can be. And human beings are multifaceted. You have different faces. You have different parts of you. And, it could be the case that that person just doesn't exist inside of you and whatever. It could also be the case that it's something undeveloped. You have no idea how many sides of you have that are just waiting to be developed. So you can do whatever you want. You can be whoever you want, truly. I'm living proof. I know you don't know me, and it's hard to make you understand that through a screen, but